So in the previous demo we have seen how to handle the exception. Okay, so we have done it with get all to dos. The same way we can write the other methods as well. Next is get to do by ID. So in this get to do by ID, obviously we are just going to get the ID which is going to be of a number type, and it is supposed to return a single to do, or it might be a error handler, right? So return this http client dot get. It's not going to return a to do array, it's going to return a to do. In this, look at this, I just want to pass the ID along with the URL. So I'm just using the backtick dollar urls.getAllToDos URL, which will give you the URL. Along with that, I'm just passing slash dollar then ID. So why I'm doing like this, because if you look at the endpoint, that is JSON placeholder type equal to dos, this will give you the complete to dos. If I give a particular ID, let me take the ID as 3. Okay, copy that, /3, it will give you the only one to do. So this concept is called as RESTful calls. In the RESTful we will be providing this, so I am just joining that. Whatever ID you provided, / this one, and it's going to catch the error. If anything goes wrong, it's just going to give the error. So get to do by ID is also completed. Okay, see that I'm using the same method for both the methods. That's the reason I'm writing it as a separate function, and I'm calling it whenever I want. Whenever any exception occurs, catch the error and give it to this, and this will be creating the error response. Okay, so we have seen get all to dos, get to do by ID. What about adding a to do? So to add a to do, for example, like I'm just going to have this endpoint. Okay, in this endpoint I want to add a to do. So to add the to do, copy this endpoint. I'm using a tool called Postman to check this RESTful end client. So Postman is a tool which is used to test the RESTful endpoints. So in the RESTful endpoint, listen, so if I give a get request for this endpoint, we'll get all the records. Whereas if I say /3, I will get only one record. Now I want to insert a record. To insert the record, for example, I'm just copying this. To insert, we need to use post method. Okay, to insert, we need to use the post. Post is used to insert the record, to add a record. And in the request body, we are supposed to pass the data. We are passing this data. For example, I'm just saying user ID is 1, and let the ID is 999, and the title is Karthik Angular session. Okay, is that completed? False. So we are passing this data. This data is of what type? It's of JSON type. So you need to specify it. So whatever data we are going to post it using the request body, you need to specify the type. That should be specified with the help of content type. Look at this. I am posting the data. This is my data. It is of what type? It is of JSON type. So I'm just going to post it. So when I click send, look at the output. So since it is just a okay, sorry, I've given a wrong endpoint. Yeah, send it. Look at this. It says 201 created. It's creating. So whenever I want to post the record, whenever I am going to use the post method, this is the endpoint. Okay, in the body, request body, you need to pass the object and you need to specify the content type. Then when I send it, we can execute that, and as a result you should get 201 created. 201 means it is a status code which will be returned by the RESTful end client, RESTful call, whenever when the resource is created. So this is the logic. Now with this logic, I'm just going to write the method add to do. So this add to do is going to take a to do object which is going to return an observable of the newly inserted record, that is observable of to do, or it might be an app error handler. Okay, so we'll write this code later. So this to do method, I'm just going to call once again this dot http client dot, this time I'm going to insert, so post. Okay, so we are going to post. What we are going to post? We are going to post of, and we are going to return the result as to do. So it asks for the URL, urls dot get all to do URL, because it is same only. And the important point is the next one, comma, look at that, it has the body, it's asking for the request body. Request body is, this is a JavaScript object, I want to convert it to JSON. So to convert the JavaScript object to JSON, we have json.stringify method. With this will convert your JavaScript object literal to JSON. So to do. So this has been converted. Then comma. So somebody asked me, is it possible to pass the headers? Yes, we can pass the headers. That is in the request header, as a content type we need to specify application /JSON, right? So how to set it means, the next one is the object. In the object they are asking the headers, you can specify the headers. So let me set the headers. Headers, new HTTP headers. Okay, new HTTP headers. In that HTTP headers we need to specify the, you can specify what header you want. I want to set the content type. Content type, the content type is going to be of application /JSON. So what I'm trying to do here is, I'm going to post the record, whatever the add to do method, you're going to get the to do object here. I'm converting it to JSON. This data is in application /JSON format. Okay, that's all we are supposed to do. And I need to return this. So when I say return, it's nothing but it's going to return an observable of to do. But what will happen if suppose some exception occurs? So for that I am using app error handler. And if it is app error handler, just you can copy and paste this code. Pipe it, cache the error, do with that. Simple logic. So you need to pass it. Somehow you need to call this method. To that method we need to pass a to do object. Then thereafter it will just give a RESTful call. It will give a AJAX call and it will do the task. So finally add to do is done. The next one, obviously we need to update the to do. This is a CRUD operation, maximum thing we can do. To do, so it's returning observable of to do, app error handler, same thing, but the method is, instead of post, it's going to be put. It's going to be put, and the endpoint will be like this. Let me check it out. Like if I want to update a record, okay, say put /3, the endpoint I've given as 3. Okay, in the body I'm just converting that into ID is 3 only. The title, I have changed the title. Changed title, completed status true. Okay, I don't know what is the user ID for that, but let me give. So when I give the RESTful endpoint, look at that, it updated it and it has changed it. Okay, this is the endpoint. So that is, whichever ID you are going to update, that needs to be specified. So almost the same thing, this one, copy that part, and whatever to do, that is json.stringify, no change in that. And in the headers also we have specified it. So this is not ID, it is to do.id. So update is done. Then finally I want to delete a record. So to delete the record, we need to use the delete method. Just click send. Look at that, it's got deleted. So to delete it, delete the to do. We are supposed to give the ID, whichever ID you are going to delete, ID which is of a number type, and there is no need to pass any JSON payload here. Okay, so you can delete this. Put to do dot pipe. Okay, done. It's going to just return a what does it, this is a delete, right? This is just a delete. So it's going to return a observable of object, or it might be a error. That's it. So we have successfully implemented all the methods which is required to perform a CRUD operation in our service, in our to do service. Get all to do's, get to do by ID, add to do, update to do, delete to do, and it does the work of handling the exception as well.